Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Georgia, I hope you're well. Welcome to another monthly reset vlog. I've got a list of sort of like bookish things that I need to get done and set up and sorted, ready for starting our new reading month in August. So let's just jump straight in. I've got a few things I want to go through. I want to go through my sort of series tracker. I want to go through my reading journal. I have updated my reading journal this morning and I just thought we could go through that together as well. I've got lots of newness, lots of new books that I want to show you and put away, and a few sort of like packages to unbox with you guys as well. And then I also need to just get all of these books on the bookshelves because there is a lot of newness to put away. I think first I'll go through my trackers and my reading journal because I feel like that's so much easier to do while all my books are out, so we'll do that first. I usually go through and fill out my journal with you guys, but I have actually already done it because I've been having some issues with my printer and it doesn't want to play ball, so I filled out my reading journal as much as I could this morning. My printer has broke, so I've had to order some new bits for it, so I will fill out the rest and show you at a later date because unfortunately it's decided it's not playable today. So we'll go through my reading journal first and then maybe my series tracker, and then we'll do everything else together after. So I use the Yop and Tom A5 journals. I just ordered these on Amazon. I get these sort of like the dotted grid ones. I find them the easiest to work in. So let's first go through this. We have my first pages, which is just sort of like my goals and overview page. So I have my 2026 goals over here. So my 4 main goals for this year were to read 80 books, keep my current series under 25, and complete my 26 in 2026 and complete my A to Z challenge as well. So obviously we're only in the end of July. I haven't completed everything yet, but I've made a good progress on a lot of them so far, I think. So this is my 80 books that I want to get read. I colour it in like the colour of the monthly spreads so that I can see at a glance sort of how many books I was reading each month. So I've coloured in my 7 for the month of July just here, so we are currently up to 51 books complete, so I'm definitely on target to hit my 80 books this year, so I'm doing alright with that. I then have my A to Z challenge. Now I've only actually been able to fill out one of these this month, and that was M, so we've now got Mr. Wrong Number on here as well. So I only actually have 7 letters left to fill out. I've got J, K, Q, R, X, Y and Z. So if you've got any book recommendations for those letters, please let me know in the comments because I'm starting to struggle. I definitely have one for J, but I think that might be it. I don't know if I've got any for the other letters. I don't know. So if you've got any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. I then have my 26 in 2026. I feel like I've not ticked anything off here in the past like 2 months. So I definitely feel as though I'm slacking a little bit when it comes to my 26 in 2026. So still on here, I've got Daybreak, which came out this month, so I can hopefully get that read soon. I've got Grim Tidings, which isn't out just yet either. I have Fever Dream, which I can now read because I've just finished the Rose Hill series, so I can hopefully get to that one again relatively soon. I've got Daughter of No Worlds, I've got Light Wielder, The Book of Blood and Roses, Haunting Adeline, Collide, If It Makes You Happy, The Ashes and the Starcast King, Riftborn, Throne of Glass, Face Off and Consider Me. So I've got a good mix of books that I still need to read off of this list by the end of the year, so I've got like 5 months left to crack on with that. I haven't actually added much to my new releases. I feel like this is always a really good idea in theory, but then I feel like I never actually fill it out. There's definitely a few books I need to add to here, but again, I've got it on my phone in my calendar and I just don't see myself doing it. So I then have my best books of 2026. So each month I choose my favourite book of the month and then they sort of get pitted against each other. My best book of the month this month was Wildcard by Elsie Silver, which is book 4 in the Rose Hill series. So I'll then do the same over this side, put a book in for every month, they'll get pitted against each other until we have my favourite book of the first half and then the second half of the month, and they get pit against each other for my best book of 2026. I then have my year in stats. I fill this out every month, but I will show you that a bit later on in more detail and we'll go through the numbers for the month of July, but I just sort of track on here how many books I've read, how many books that is out of my full physical TBR, my average ratings for the month, things like that, but we'll go through that in a little bit. I then have my series tracker. Now I do have a paper copy and an electronic copy of this, so I tend to fill out my electronic copy in a bit more detail. This one does sort of get forgotten about, I'm not gonna lie, so I feel like this is something I don't use as much, but I should probably update because I haven't. Tend to stick to my electronic one a bit more strictly, but these ones do sort of just get checked off when they catch my eye. I still like to have it, but I haven't written every book that I'm reading on this list by any means, so we will see. I then have my reading log, so I've just got like a little Dutch door where I write down every book I read that month. So I've read my 7 books for the month of July. If you want more in-depth on the books that I've read this month, monthly reading wrap-up is already up on my channel, so you can check that out. It was the last video to go up, so you can go and check out all the books that I read and what I rated them there. I then have my DNF graveyard and my God tier books. So I have got a couple of books this year that I soft DNF. Like I soft DNF'd The Wind Weaver and I soft DNF'd The Book of Blood and Roses, but they're both books I would like to come back to. I just knew I was reading them in the wrong time, so I thought I would pause them and come back to them. So they haven't gone in my DNF graveyard because I do plan on reading them still. And then I haven't put anything on God tier yet, simply because I don't know how to do it. I can't decide how I want to lay it out. Like I would like to get the Rose Hill series on here, Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac on here. There's some of my God tier books I've absolutely devoured and enjoyed this year, but I need to figure out how I want to lay that out. So I don't know whether to wait till the end of the year and do it then. I feel like that's going to be the best way, because what if between now and the next 6 months there's more books that need to go on here? Does that make sense? So I'm going to wait that one out, I think. We then have my July spreads. So I started doing this morning, and then went to print everything out and my printer broke. So I haven't actually fully filled this out yet. So we first have my very easy sort of title page. I just have July Reads written there. And then we have a very blank sort of filling out for this because, like I said before, my printer broke. So my July TBR would go here. So if you want to know what was on my TBR for the month of July, there was Summer in the City by Alex Astor, Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter, Consider Me by Becca Mack, Book Lovers by Emily Henry, The Happily Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez, and The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I read 4 out of 6 of my physical TBR. Again, if you want to see my wrap up for the month of July, it is already up. So I read 4 of them, but not all of them, annoyingly. And then let's just quickly talk through my stats. So in July, I read 7 books, which equated to 4,050 pages. I read 4 of those physically and 3 of them on audio. My average rating for the month of July was 4.1 stars. And I had 2 5-star reads in the month of July as well. Now, I did buy 13 new books in the month of July. Some of them are duplicates, but we will go through that a little bit later on. I unhauled 0 books this month because I'm terrible. And I read 0 arcs this month as well. I do have a couple of arcs I need to get to, but I just haven't got to them this month. I now own 530 books and I've read 181 of them. I'll let you do the math on how many I still have on my TBR. And it works out at about 34% of my physical TBR that I have read. So, you know, slacking. And then at the bottom of the page down here, I just have some space where I write how many books I read in July in the last sort of like 3 years. In 2024, I read 6 books in the month of July. In 2025, I read 7. And in 2026, so this year, I read 7 again. I really like having this because I like to see if there's any sort of like patterns on how many books I read in sort of like each season, I guess. So like in the summer months, have I always read more books, or in the winter months do I read more? And I like having somewhere to sort of go through if I have like a similar reading amount, I guess. And also it's just a nice way to see if like my reading speed or anything like that has sort of gone up. I think in my reading journal next year, that's something that I would like to have on like maybe a little bit of a graph, so I can see each year, and then I'll be able to see in a bit more detail if that's stuck or not. So we'll see. I might have to see if there's a way for me to do that. And then I also have the what I read page, which obviously has nothing on because my printer is broken. So I will fill those out at some point. That is my reading journal all up to date as much as it can be with no printer. It's been a great day. So I think now would be a good time to go through my series tracker. Every single month I update my series tracker. I didn't create this. This was created by Maisie May. There is a link in my description box to her Etsy store where you can buy the template for this. I have made some changes to it. Me and James did sit down and add some little bits and bobs, so it doesn't look exactly like hers does now, but it's still very similar. So this is my series tracker. At the end of last month I had 19 series that I was in the middle of, so once I get to the next sort of like 5, I try and keep it under that. So before I was struggling to keep it under 25, and then once I got it to 20 I was like, right, I've got to keep it under 20. So obviously this is pushing it a lot. So one of my focuses for the month of June was to get that under control a little bit. Let's first go through the books I read last month and get them checked off. So we have the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac. I have now completed this. There are 5 books out and I have read all 5 now, so that's 1 checked off. I then have the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver, and I have again, I don't know why that's on I'm going. I have again completed this. I've read the next 2 books in that series this month. I've smashed through that series. It's definitely top tier for me. I have devoured it. I've loved it so much. I then have the next series by Hannah Bonham Young, and again I have now completed that series as well. So there's another one checked off. And next I have Mr. Wrong Number. I read The Love Wager a couple of years ago, and I've read Mr. Wrong Number this month, so that is another one checked off. And then the rest of the books I've read this month have been standalones. That has taken it back down to 15, which was my hope. So that's all my books that I read this month. We have had some new releases this month as well. I've already added the 3 arcs that I read last month, which the physical books have now arrived for, but we've definitely had some other series that have come out. So first up being the Soldiers of Bedlam series. I am no longer up to date with this because the 3rd one's come out and I haven't got read on around to it yet. So that is Fox by Paisley Hope. We also have Sorrow Song University. I don't know why my name isn't on there. There we go. I am again no longer up to date with this because book 2's come out. So another one added on. We also have the next book in The Beast of the Briar, so I'm miles off with that anyway. There's now 6 out, so I didn't update that last month either. I have read book 1, but I want to start the series again, which is why it says not started. So there's 6 in that series now. And I think that's everything in terms of series that I need to add on to this. So let's see what the damage is. So I have 25 series that I have completed. I have 13 that I'm up to date with. I have 74 left to start, and I have 17 that I'm in the middle of. There are 5 series that I only have 1 book left to finish them. That is my series tracker up to date. We have 17 series I'm in the middle of. Now that all my trackers are up to date, I've got a fun little haul for you guys. I have 13 new books this month that I'd like to go through. Now, the annoying thing about this month's haul, I've already read 9 of those 13 books. Some of them are pre-orders and some of them are sort of new editions of books that I have read previously that I wanted nice copies of. I'm first going to open my Fairy Loot. I want to open that with you guys, and then I've also got a book that, a special edition that I ordered off Vinted that I'd like to show you as well that I haven't seen in person yet. So let's open those first. So firstly, my July Fairy Loot. The theme for this month then was The Cost of a Crown. So we have The Law of Wolves and Whispers by Amanda Connolly. Such a stunning edition. How pretty is that? So we have the wolf on the back. That is gorgeous. And then some beautiful sprayed edges as well. We have the reversible dust jacket. Again, this is absolutely gorgeous. Just says on the back, "We would never work wolf and me. Even so, the words are aflame in the darkness, and I can't resist the law." The naked hardcover for this one is insane. I feel like the naked hardcovers on Fairy Loot books are just getting better and better and better. The sprayed edges are always insane, but the hardcovers, I just feel are stepping up so much. So that's the front, and then this is the back here as well. So again, we've got that silver foiling. I absolutely love it, and it says, "Magic comes with a terrible price. Are you willing to pay?" And then the illustrated end pages as well, again with the silver foiling. I feel like the foiling on the artwork just makes all the difference. And then the back end page as well, again that foiling just adds so much depth to it. I absolutely love it. So the synopsis then, on the Mist-Shrouded Isle of, I'm going to say Erin, buying magic comes with a price. When Maeve's beloved sister is gravely injured, she must risk everything to buy the forbidden magic that might save her. In exchange, Maeve trades her life to a ruthless and dangerously alluring rebel leader. Bound to do his bidding, Maeve finds herself thrown into a deadly competition to become the next queen and carry out a lethal mission that could hinge on a prince rumoured to be more brutal than his tyrannical father. With the Isle on the brink of war, trust and survival come at a terrible cost, one that will tear Maeve's world and her heart in two. What would you sacrifice to survive? So it just says that this book is a darkly addictive romantasy debut from Amanda Connolly and first in the trilogy. So we are going to have 3 books in this series, which I am so excited about. I can't wait to give this one a go. I really like wolf inspired books anyway, so I'm thinking these might be wolf shifters. I don't know, it doesn't give much away from the sort of synopsis, but just with the quote on the back, I'm thinking maybe wolf shifters. I don't know. And then on the back of the theme card then it just says, a young woman must sacrifice everything to a ruthless alluring rebel leader in exchange for the forbidden magic that will save her gravely injured sister. but when she finds herself thrown into deadly competitions at his bidding, she must do everything she can to survive. Okay, so we've got competitions and trials, which is always a strong part for me. I love competition and trial books anyway. They're like my favourite style of romantasy. So I am very happy with this month's fair review. I think this is going to be really, really fun. And then I also have my Vinted book. Now, it's not from Everheart. It's a Smut and Sip copy of First Time Caller, which is my favourite book by B.K. Borison. So we first have some artwork. This is absolutely gorgeous. I love this. Oh, and I cannot show you this one. This is all I can show you, but just trust me, it's very nice. So we've got some lovely artwork there. I love those. And then the actual book. I've obviously seen photos of it from when I bought it, but I haven't looked at it in person. I love it so much. So this, like I said, is the Smut and Sip copy of First Time Caller. I absolutely love it. It's so cute. I cannot wait to display this on my BK Borison shelf. We also have the artwork on the end pages as well, so obviously again I can't show you any more than that. I absolutely loved this book. It was a 6-star read for me last year, so I felt like it was only fitting that, you know, I treat myself to a special edition copy of it. I'm so happy with this. I have been thinking about buying it for ages, and then because I've been selling my books on Vinted, I obviously had quite a bit of money saved up on there, so I thought, why not treat myself to a nice little special edition copy of this. So very, very happy with that one. Whilst on the topic of like other copies of books I already own, I may have done something a little bit silly, but I've done it anyway. And I've bought some hardback copies of the ACOTAR series. Now, I have the paper copies of these books, and obviously the new ones have been advertised as coming out in hardback only for now, and then they'll probably do like the paperbacks later down the line. But I will obviously be reading the new ones as soon as they come out, which will be in hardback. So, since I'm going to be rereading this series anyway, I thought I would just purchase some hardback copies of them. I'm going to reread and annotate the books in the hard copy forms so that when the new ones come out I have the matching editions, is basically my plan here. So yes, it's a repurchase, it's spending money I don't need to be spending, but I want them all in the same edition. And you book girlies and guys will understand that it's got to be done. It's just got to be done. So I will be starting a reread soon. I will be making some content regarding rereads, but I want to read the entire series again before the new ones come out in October. So the ACOTAR reread will be starting very soon, and I'm going to reread and annotate the entire series, and I'm so excited. And then I have the arcs from last month that I have already read. So these all came out on the 2nd of July. We first have One Last Rodeo by Anna Lucy. This is book 3 in the Willow Ridge series by this author. A 5-star read for me. I was talking about it earlier. It's down as my best book of 2026. I have loved this series so far. I've arc read all 3 of these books and they are all insane. They are incredible. I love them so much. We also have The High Life by Anise Starr. This is book 1. I think this is just sort of like a standalone. This is a high society live-in. She is the heiress to an airline company and he is an heiress to like a hotel chain. And again, a book that I really, really enjoyed. I settled on a 4-star for that one in the end. And then I also have my copy of Unexpected Goal by Clara St. James. This is book 4 in the Breakaway series by this author. These are adult ice hockey romances. And again, absolutely loved it. I rated this one 5 as well, I believe. Might have been 4.5 actually. I think it was 4.5 in the end. And this is a single dad nanny romance that I absolutely devoured. I love this series. They are all very heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, lots of mental health representation. I absolutely adore this series. And then I also just have 3 other new books and pre-orders. I first have Stolen by Shadows by Elizabeth Helen. This is book 6 in the Beast of the Briar series by this author. I have read book 1 already and I really, really enjoyed that. I read that a couple of years ago now, and then I sort of never picked them back up, so I have got all 6 books. I would like to start the series again and read them closer together, but it's obviously a long series. There's another one coming out, I want to say in the next like 6 months as well, and I don't know if that's going to be it then. I don't know if it's 7 books or 8 books, but I would like to read this entire series. I'm trying not to look into it any more than that. I've not even read the quote on the back just in case there's any spoilers, but this is book 6 in this one. And then a pre-order that I completely forgot I'd ordered and then arrived at my door was What Fury Brings by Trisha Levenseller. Now this copy is absolutely gorgeous, for one. I read the Daughter of a Pirate King trilogy by this author and devoured that. I loved it so much. So when I saw that there was another book that she had written, I decided to pre-order it and then completely forgot I'd done it. So I'm really excited about this one. It just says, a world ruled by women, a queen in waiting, a gamble that could destroy everything. And I am so intrigued by this. I think it's going to be so interesting to sort of read from a fantasy world ruled by women. I think that's going to be so much fun. So I'm really excited for this one, and like I said, it's absolutely gorgeous. And then finally we have Daybreak by Autumn Woods. This is book 2 in the Sorrow Song University. So there was Nightshade and now there's Daybreak. I got the Works Sprayed Edges edition. I never got the Sprayed Edges of book 1, annoyingly. I can't wait to read this one. I really enjoyed book 1. I rated it 4 stars. I did do a whole video dedicated to reading that book. I would love to read this soon. I loved book 1. It ended on a big cliffhanger ending, lots of drama, and I'm really intrigued to see sort of like how that plays out. They're all my new books, and now I guess we've got to find a home for them all, which is going to be interesting because I've also got all my TBR from last month that needs to also go away. So we need to put all of these away, and to be honest, I think these are just going to go in sort of like rough placements because I can feel a full bookshelf reorganisation brewing. There's just some issues with it now. I'm running out of room for my fairy loots. I'm also running out of room on just like my fantasy shelves in general, but I do have some shelves down here that are a bit wasted that I need to sort of reorganise and sort. I also have some other special editions that I've ordered that will be coming in the next few months that I need to sort of make room for. I think I want to do like another big declutter of my shelves, get rid of all the books that I'm not bothered about, because there's definitely some more that I've been putting off. And the last couple of times I've sorted my bookshelves, I've looked at them and been like, okay, I should probably let go of that, and then haven't. So there's definitely some books that need to go, I think, because even still I've not picked them up and I'm not sure about them, and I just think it's time to let them go. So I'd like to do maybe the next couple of months a full shelf reorganisation and declutter. I'm going to put these away the best I can, but I do think in the next few months they'll change again, if I'm honest. So let's reorganise my bookshelves. I'm first going to start by putting my books that I read this month away. They are all finishing series that I'm in the middle of, or standalones anyway, so I've got no new ones from this pile that need to go onto my TBR cart. So it is mostly romance anyway, which is all this side. So I'm first going to put my Rose Hill series back, and then these are all just on my sort of like random romance shelf, which is just down here. I'm not sure if you'll actually be able to see it. Okay, and then the final one is Warrior Fae, which is going to go in the bottom of my Ruthless Boys stack here. Okay, and then for all of my new books then, first up we have Daybreak. This is going to go on my TBR cart because obviously it's the next one in a series, so I don't actually need to find a home for this one yet. I think this next bit is going to be where it becomes a bit of a struggle because I think these are all going to need a bit of a rejig. My Fairy Loot and my other hardback can both go away quite easily because they have their own shelf. I keep all my Fairy Loots in the order I received them in, so I think I have room for like one more Fairy Loot before they'll need a new shelf. Yeah, it'll be a squeeze, but I'll be able to fit one more. My Beast of the Briar series is all on a shelf down here. Again, I think I will have room for the last one, but then if there is more than that, I'm going to be pretty screwed. I have turned it slightly so you can see more of my romance shelves. I'm going to have a bit of a rejig to get this on a shelf, so we're going to have to move this shelf around a bit, so let's go. They're both Christmas reads. I'm going to move them. They're not by this author. There's another book in the Ghosted series that's coming out this year, so I will leave room for that there. But I much prefer that. We have the Smut and Sip copy out on display, which I love. I actually love that so much. I think it looks so nice. We now have the ARCs from last month as well, so these two both have a home. This one I'm going to put with the Christmas one because there's one by Anise Star there as well, so let's go jiggle. Consider Me and Face Off are both on my TBR cart, so there is room either side of Power Play to go here, so that's fine. Perfect. One Last Rodeo will squeeze in next to my other Emma Lucy books, so that's perfect. High Life and Just a Taste can go together, and I'm just going to pop them on the edge of my romance shelf at the bottom, I think. Now, I don't know what to do with this one because it doesn't fit on the same shelf as my other Trisha Levenseller books, but I might just put it there anyway. I've just popped it on top of them, I'm not going to lie. I think these are actually just going to go where my paperbacks are, and I'll have to find somewhere else for my paperbacks to go. I think I'm actually really happy with how that looks up there. I've got my little surreal dude just chilling as well. I'm happy with that. I think that looks pretty goddamn good. I definitely have some changes I'd quite like to make just because I'm running out of room for sort of specific, mainly my hardbacks really. All my hardbacks are on here, but I've now run out of room for my normal hardbacks. I've run out of room for my pretty special editions, and obviously once I start the War of Lost Hearts trilogy, they'll all need to go on here and they don't fit at the moment, and I've also one Fairy Loot away from them not fitting either, so I need a good rejig. But I have also just learned that my hardbacks fit perfectly above my bookshelves with literally like that much room above them. It might just get to a point where they actually just go on top of my bookshelf and I'll just have to stand on my chair to get them. So especially in like this corner up here, that might just end up being what we do, but we'll just have to see how that goes. Success! I'm happy with that. I think we've done well there to get things fitting at least nearly where they're supposed to be. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, my social media, my Amazon, my Goodreads, my business email and my Fable are all in the description bar below. I really hope you guys are well. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.